What up guys, this is Monkey Figure Reviews, and today we are going to talk about a figure that was released in 2014, and it is the SCultures figure Colosseum 3 KINEMON by BANPRESTO. So I got this figure at the end of last year, second hand, without the box. So what you see in front of you is what I got. And this guy has always been on my list, has been on my watch list for quite some time. But just that he's actually pretty rare, and if you do manage to find it, he doesn't really come cheap. But I got lucky, second hand, condition is still great, so I just went for it last year. And to me, for a figure that came out about 6+ years ago, I think the quality of him still holds up to this very day in 2021. In fact, I will even go as far as saying that he wins out over most of the the BANPRESTO Bandai Spirits figures that came out in 2020. He's just so good because like back then, just some background history for you guys, for those of you who are new collectors. Back then, the earlier stages of BANPRESTO figures, there were actually quite good mass production quality. Just talking about the material used, the paints, everything. Those were very consistent, and then of course after that it went through some ups and downs, and we got to where we are today with sort of the lower mass production quality, which is kind of unfortunate. Alright, I'm ranting, so I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna talk about the number of pieces this figure has. So usually this figure actually can stand on its own, but I want to move him around easier because I'm gonna show you guys all the different angles. I decided to put it on the base, so you can see this is a pretty standard figure Colosseum base. I'll show you guys maybe the close-up later. There's a shaft, or rather a supporting stand that goes up all the way to his crotch to support him over there. And the upper and lower half, actually there are two pieces, it separates. The sword here in his hand is also a separate piece, and at the back over here and here, the sheath and the other sword, they are actually separate pieces too that you have to attach to the waist sash. So that's pretty much it with the parts, and we are going to go into the details. I have removed the sword temporarily because it'll be blocking his face, and now we'll have a better view. And right off the bat, I can surely say the character likeness is definitely well done. I would say it's even close to perfect, and even this kind of exaggerated expression, it is done very well. Of course shown by even the different eye shapes, the eyebrows that's painted on. The paint quality overall on the face is excellent, and overall the sculpt quality, the face sculpt, it is done really well. And what I really want to mention is of course the mouth. I feel that the way they've done the mouth quality, this is a lot better than some of the figures I've seen today. Even the teeth, the mouth, they're very, very natural. You can actually look into the tongue. And on top of the forehead, of course, here we have the veins popping out to show maybe how angry or how pissed off he is. And even some of the around the eyes, the wrinkles, and around the cheekbones areas, a little bit of a slight skin folding, skin crease, whatever you call it, wrinkles to show his age. And you can just tell the quality is excellent. It is really, really excellent. Keep in mind, like I said, this figure came out about 6+ years ago. And for his facial hair, of course, we have his tiny little beard over here, and the sideburns towards the side that just goes all the way down to the jaw. Same for this side. And the hair, they really tried to add a lot of these lines into the sculpt to show the individual hair strands. And of course we have a beautiful top knot at the top. And let me just turn this guy around. This is how it looks like. I think it's quite clear over here. Overall the quality is just really, really amazing. Okay, and even the finishing, right, it is done perfect. And here you can actually see his neck. And after taking a look at this angle, I do find it kind of the body, what do you call it, distortion, or the way he bends his neck, it's kind of really extreme from this angle. And you can see the muscles and the veins just around the neck, and the angle can be a bit weird, but from the front I think it's still fine, since you're gonna be looking at him here most of the time. I think it is still fine. And we are going to continue to his main body, starting with his iconic red kimono, his red outfit. I think you can tell just straight up the texturing on the kimono, you know, with all these lines, is definitely a stylistic choice. It kind of makes it look like you know, like manga drawings, they always have lines to show lighting, shadowing, etc. So this is kind of like it. And even when you feel the material, right, it actually feels of higher quality, not the kind of like the cheap PVC kind. You can actually feel the difference. It feels like it would last long. And I don't think there's actually much shading on the figure, from what I can tell. But over here, the natural creases they added on the folds they added onto the kimono, I think those are very well done. And you can see for yourself, they're definitely very natural looking. Let me turn it back. And you reach the part where it's black and white stripes. Over here, definitely not the most perfect. You can see some parts are not properly filled up, some parts there's bleeding. But definitely for price figure, usually this is the kind of quality we see. And if it's done perfect, we will definitely be surprised. But I think overall it's still fine, still okay. And if you turn it over here, you can also have a sneak peek of the muscles on his body. It looks to be very well sculpted, and his muscles looks to be very well defined to show how ripped he is. And over here on his right arm, you can just see how much muscles they're giving KINEMON. Especially, it's kind of exaggerated with all those veins popping up, makes him look kind of insane. Very, very angry. And the muscle shape, the muscle sculpt is actually pretty insane. Even for the hand, like what do you call this, like the tendon or something, those are so well defined. And the fingernails are not painted, but it's kind of sculpted on. And of course you have the sword handle and the blade, and it's kind of pretty ordinary for this part. It's similar for the other arm. Look at the muscles, and this is the other blade. And of course we have the sheaths of the swords with the designs. This kind of his iconic swords, very, very unique, looks like flames actually. There you go. At the bottom of his kimono, we have a very beautiful and fluid flow of his kimono to capture his motion. So you can just see for yourself. Even the sash, right, the waist sash is kind of flowing this way. It really gives life to the figure. And ultimately, one of the key selling points of this figure, is really just the unique pose. You know, kind of in mid motion, like it's blocking an attack, and his other arm is getting ready to pull out the other sword for the counter. And I especially love this part, the way they shape the stripes to really just show the shape and movement. It is really, really well done. And of course, lastly, talking about his legs, we have the leg hair painted on over here. And we have again veins, muscles popping up, and even the wooden sandals. The details, the texture are all added on, not just a plain brown piece of the figure. Same for the other leg, as you can see. Even the toenails are especially well sculpted, I would say. Okay, and I think you can tell from here, like the base, this is how it looks like. It just says BANPRESTO figure Colosseum. And you have like the words in kanji, and here you have BP 2014 made in China. For those of you interested, you can actually see right below his kimono. You know, if you just follow the legs up, you can see the muscles that's also done on the thigh, on both legs. And right here, he wears a very fitting red underwear that is kind of holding a big bulge, holding his manhood. So they definitely didn't save on details for this figure. The height of this figure from the bottom to the top of his head, that is around 18.5 cm, so about 7.25 inches. And if you're talking to the top of the sword here, that is about 21 cm and around 8.25 inches. If you do wish to add the height of the base, just add around 1/4 inch. Here I have KINEMON next to Figure Colosseum 3 Zoro and Battle Record Collection Luffy in his Wano outfit. And actually this is how I display all these figures in my shelf currently next to one another because I'm thinking, you know, Wano theme, and they're all in kimonos, they're all kind of like swordsman outfit. I think it's kind of fitting to have them together. And on top of that, I feel that if you're just looking at a, you know, like a general scale, a similar scale size, these three are actually very consistent. They're very similar to each other. But of course you can say, man, this is not right because KINEMON is a very tall character. He is around Brooke's height, or you know, Frankie's height. He should be a lot taller than. Sure, then it may not be a perfect fit. But I think if you're not looking at a rather more accurate representation, this is definitely one way you can display them. Here I have taken out POP sitting again version 2 Luffy and Creator X Creator Zoro for height comparison. And of course POP, I think KINEMON doesn't really fit well, even though he's of decent size. But in terms of body proportions, it's just not a good match. And you might think that, you know, like I said previously, if you want something that is sort of slightly more accurate to, you know, the height of the characters, maybe you might find him to be more fitting with the Creator X Creator series, with the Creator X Creator characters. Alright guys, that's pretty much all I have to share for this figure. I'm not gonna bring out the Grantista scale or the King of Artists Master Life scales for comparison because those guys are just too huge. It doesn't really make sense if you're looking for a scale display between them. And this figure itself, in general, it is just so well done. In fact, I believe it is the best KINEMON figure in the market right now. I know that there is a Battle Record Collection KINEMON coming out, but that guy, you know, he has the advantage, he has the flames on his swords, but I think in terms of overall quality, it will have to do very well to top this figure. I think I'll give this guy maybe a 9.10. You know, some parts like the connections over here, it could be better. You can actually see some gaps, and of course the paint job in certain areas can also be improved. But of course, already this guy, he is better than your average price figure by BANPRESTO Bandai Spirits. And the selling point of this is that we don't have much KINEMON figures. If you want a good one of him, I think this is it. This is the one. And I think his pose is very unique. He looks really cool and badass KINEMON. I think you can't get something else from him that is so unique like this, unless maybe one day the POP series gives us a good surprise. We will have to wait and see. Alright, let me know what you guys think of this figure in the comments section below. And of course, as usual, if you're new here, if you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell notification button so you don't miss out on new videos like this. Thank you for spending your time with me. I will see you guys very soon. Goodbye.